This is going to be a little bit of a doozer, but bear with me with this one. You see the caption? Cam Newton says he wants more children. He says, my desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce. Now, men know what he's talking about, but obviously the normies are not, they're going to act like Cam Newton's the villain for having 8 kids with like 3 different women, if I'm not mistaken. But here in this segment, this particular interview, he's interviewing Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, who's this so-called psychology expert, right? So I will say this: I am going to do a live stream soon, and I am going to hone in on Dr. Cheyenne Bryant because I've had my eyes on her for a while. Because Corey Holcomb had brought her up. I remember seeing her on the Zoe Williams show a while back, like a whiles back. Meaning we're talking about almost 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago. But I remember Corey had brought her up as an example. So we can get into that later. But right now, I want to focus on Dr. Cheyenne Bryant trying to quote unquote check Cam Newton for him wanting to have more kids, but without the marriage part. So let's take a listen to Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, quote unquote, check Cam Newton, even though Cam Newton's supposed to be interviewing her. Let's take a listen.
A lot of people see my situation and I think that I'm not high function.
What situation?
Okay, so I'm not married. I have beautiful children.
How many?
8.
By how many women?
3. And this is the kicker. I want more.
By multiple women?
Fair use, by the way. Fair use. Shout out to Cam Newton. He has a great podcast, by the way, but let's keep playing. My bad.
What's the intent?
I just want God to bring her. I just want God to bring her.
Oh, okay.
My desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce. So, as you had said, Dr. Bryant, you said it. I didn't say it. I will agree. I'm just taking my time.
You're not taking your time.
I am, though.
You're being very action-based. You're not taking your time.
I'm taking my time.
You're being very action-based. You have 8 kids with 3 different women.
Yes.
You are creating, procreating, and multiplying. That is not taking your time. You're being very selectively active. Okay? So you're creating, and disclaimer, the kids are innocent. They are beautiful and amazing. Anything I say has nothing to do with them babies. But you are proactively choosing where you want.
A lot of people see my situation. And
let's hit the next clip. By the way, man, men are very patient. Men are very patient with these hoes, man. I'm 304s. Because if it was up to me, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant can't tell me anything. And I'll tell you why in a little bit later.
With them babies. But you are proactively choosing where you want to be active at and where you want to take your time. You want to take your time in having a wife because of your own fears. But you will, and I say this with all respect and love, what I'm about to say next, okay, Cam? But you will selfishly create broken families, even if you're in their life and you're a proactive father, and I believe you're an amazing daddy. I can only imagine with just your presence and knowing you. But these families are still broken. Every child cannot have Papa in the house with them. So some child, if not all will end up with some kind of deficit without daddy being there. Now, you chose to do that. I'm not saying you sat there and woke up one morning and said, I want to be selfish today, so I'm going to go make a baby. Not saying that at all. But those are selfish acts at the expense of your fear. And yeah, that is a low functioning behavior to say that I'm going to build these houses and put kids and these beautiful women and kids in them, but I ain't going to create a home and with them babies. But you are proactive.
Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. You see, black people. No, I'm playing with y'all. I'm playing with y'all. But yeah, I remember when Corey Holcomb had mentioned her. You know what? You know what's gonna happen? Because Corey Holcomb did say he was gonna do an interview with Cam Newton. He's probably gonna bring this. Oh man. Look, man. Shout out to Corey Holcomb for calling this out about Dr. Cheyenne Bryant a while back. And I'm gonna paraphrase what he said. He called Dr. Cheyenne Bryant a bad bitch, meaning she's pretty. And I think at one point she was like the president of the NAACP chapter or of the whole thing. I don't remember, but I remember when Corey Holcomb was talking about her, he's like, yo, Zoe, when you told me she was the president of the NAACP, I wasn't shocked because that is a bad bitch. And what happens is in these settings, right? If you are an attractive woman, right? And let's keep it real, even at the age of 40 something, many, particularly black men, I don't know about other races of men, but especially in a black setting, black men, if they see a Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, especially, even when she was in her 30s, right? She's in her 40s now. She was still a very attractive woman. No surgeries, just a naturally attractive woman. And what happens with women like this, they tend to get pushed up the ladder prematurely. You know what I mean? Because of their not only because of their gender, but because of how they look. So, but the problem with that is they really think intellectually or authoritative wise, they're at a level at where they think a man is, but really they really have no jurisdiction because men keep placing these women, these certain women in these spots, and they don't really deserve it. So in her mind, she's thinking, "Oh, I'm earning all my spots, and you know, I'm really that smart." But anyway, that's a whole other show. We could dive into that, particularly with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, because I have a feeling if Corey Holcomb is going to do the interview with Cam Newton, like he said, I have a feeling he's going to bring up this clip, and he's going to mention her. But let's take it back here. Let's dissect it, actually, because I want to make sure this stuff is in order. Let's dissect this. I'm gonna dissect this a little bit because I could already bring this stuff right here is right up my alley.
And I think that I'm not high function.
What situation?
Okay, so I'm not married. I have beautiful children.
How many?
8.
By how many women?
3. And
Now remember, this is Cam Newton, Heisman winner, future. Really, I'll say this: if Andrew Luck gets into the Hall of Fame, that means Cam Newton should be a shoo-in. That's a whole other story. But former Pro Bowler, former NFL MVP, former best quarterback in the world for a little bit. You know what I mean? Even if it was for 1 year. You know, like I said, former NFL MVP. You know, All Pro, former All Pro first team. You know what I'm saying? Like Cam Newton's, has a very storied football career. Has now transitioned into the media game, killing it. Cam Newton's that guy. He's got that paper. He's got that money. And remember, guys, this is a former quarterback. Dude's 6'5". I think he's really 6'6", in my opinion. I think 6'5". I think they're just being standard. That's just like his standard. I really think he's probably like 6'6". So this is guy 6'6", 6'5", got paper, former athlete. He's not fat. When you talk about top 1%, right? He's literally the top 0.000000001% of not just men but black men. So literally every black woman thinks they deserve a Cam. So he's literally that mythical unicorn that they're chasing, right? So you would consider him a guy that's quote unquote high value, right? Even because I remember Kevin Samuel said, "Oh yeah, if you're an athlete, you're not high value." Yeah, I see what he's trying to say, but I disagree. I respectfully disagree. There might be some bias there on Kevin Samuel's part, but rest in peace. But when you got money, if you got money and you got fame, you can mess with damn near any woman you want, any woman you please. So it shouldn't surprise people that he has 8 kids. He got money, he got fame. He's gonna have kids, especially if you're a black man, and you're physically and as charismatic as a Cam. You're gonna have multiple kids. You're gonna have several kids. It is what it is.
this is the kicker. I want more.
By multiple women? What's the intent?
I
You
just want
saying,
God
by
to
your
bring
wife?
him. I just want God to bring him.
Cam, dude, this dude, boy. By the way, very over hated. I never understood the hate that Cam Newton got through his career. Like, it still boggles my mind to this day. And guys, look this up. During that, when he got his Heisman, his father wasn't allowed to be at the ceremony. You guys could look that up for yourselves. But anyways,
Oh, okay.
My desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce. So
right there, that was Cam Newton really politely telling her, "Look, I know what you're thinking, and you might think, oh, this is not ideal, but I want kids. But at the same time, and it would be nice for me to get married, but the ramifications of divorce is just too high." He said, "I might as well just do things my way, and I'll be all right."
as you would say it, Dr. Bryant, you said it. I didn't say it. I will agree. I'm just taking my time.
You're not taking your time.
I am, though.
You're being very.
He is actually. So, but in his way. So in terms of when he's finally gonna marry abroad, he is taking his time. Now, unfortunately, like I said, when you're Cam Newton, right? You don't have just one woman. You have women. WOMEN. You have women at your disposal. And I'm talking about plenty of women that want to be around you, want to do, that Like Cam Newton's not looking for a broad that can cook, clean. He already has many broads that will do all of that and be a side chick. I'm talking about they would rather be a side chick to a Cam Newton and do all the wifely duties than actually be an actual wife to somebody that would actually wife them and do the wifely duties for that guy. No, they would rather be a side chick to a guy like a Cam Newton and do the wifely duties for him, even though they know they're never going to be higher than side chick or concubine or just baby mother. They know this, but they said, I'd rather just take that deal than be an actual wife to an actual guy that wants to wife me. That's the deal that the women are selecting. That's not Cam's fault. That's not Cam's fault. When does the onus go on the baby mother to be, on the woman to be like, look, I don't want to be Cam's fourth baby mother. Either we get married or I'm not having kids. You're kids. But we already know rules go out the window for the ideal man, especially somebody of a Cam stature. They'll remember what Cam's recent baby mother. Remember what Jasmine said? I think that's her name because she's a female comedian, if I'm not mistaken. Remember what she said? She said, "Oh yeah, I never thought I was going to be a baby mama until you meet a millionaire that's putting pressure on you." She was really giving people the game. But like I said, people are never going to accept the truth, the cold, hard reality and the truths. It's going to be a whole lot of male simps too talking about Cam's making broken families. I'm like, you ninjas don't get it, dog. These ninjas. I think guys need to be around guys like, I think because I've been fortunate enough to be around many types of people. And when you're around people of fame, I don't want to say no names because I've been around certain people, or you're around people with status, right? Or people with a lot of money or a lot of clout, or or a person or a man that's considered handsome or very cute by many women. You need to hang around these people and see how the women just treat them compared to you. It'll blow your mind. Once you see it, then you'll be like, okay, I get it. Because most men are not getting special treatment by women. Most men. And it's only certain men that quote unquote qualify for that kind of treatment. And once you see it up close and personal, or even experience it yourself, when you finally meet a girl or a woman that is literally doing everything but pulling your pants down in public, you know what I mean? Many men don't experience that, so it's easy for them to judge a Cam Newton, a Nick Cannon. They don't get it. I think, because most men don't experience that kind of burning desire, or women going out of their way to just be around you, or to literally where you're in a position of leverage where you're not even looking for a woman that can cook and clean. You already have plenty of women that are willing to do that for you, and you don't even have to commit to them. Many men don't experience Dante. Yo, if only you guys knew, particularly the people that are going to be judging Cam Newton and the male simps in the comment section that are going to be quote unquote judging Cam Newton for quote unquote creating broken families, even though it's the woman creating the broken families by deciding to just acquiesce to Cam off GP.
Action based. You're not taking your time.
I'm taking my time.
You're being very action based. You have 8 kids with 3 different women.
Yes.
You are creating.
So, and really, that's what, like I said, because guys like Cam, the jocks nowadays, they're very nice. Like I remember the jocks in the early 2000s. That's why I'd be laughing when people be talking crazy about LeBron James. I'm like, you guys should be lucky that the guys like the LeBron James of the world, that who else, the Steph Currys, they're nice. Trust me, they could be doing a lot worse. They could be on their bully shit. I gotta stop cursing, but I'm telling you, they could be a lot worse. But like, the Tyrones, the Chads, whatever, the Jose's. But you're talking about a giga high value guy like a Cam Newton, telling him what he needs to do with, oh, why you having all these kids with multiple? If you're a guy like Cam, you really could literally look at a woman like that and just be like, so. But Cam Newton is very respectful. He's a very nice human being. I don't know why people can't see this, but that's just me.
Creating, procreating, and multiplying. That is not taking your time. You're being very selectively active. Okay, so you're creating.
The fuck she talking about selectively act? He got hoes. Ninja, if you a Cam Newton, you gonna have hoes, man. It's that simple. It's really that simple. But like I said, when does the onus go on the woman to be like, well, he already has 8 kids with 3 different women. Let me not be baby mama number 4 or 5 or 6. Like I said, it's up to the women. The women have the control. My body, my choice, right? But anyway.
dating.
Mm-hmm.
And disclaimer, the kids are innocent. They are beautiful and amazing. Anything I say has nothing to do with them babies. But you are proactively choosing where you want.
A lot of people see my
But man, I don't think people get it, man. Because it'd be the same people talk about Nick Cannon is bad. I'm like, you guys don't get it, dog. Like I said, the woman, they want to be in that situation. They rather would be in that situation than just be wifed up with a guy that's willing to give her everything. But they understand that if you're with a guy like a Cam Newton or a Nick Cannon, they can get more for just being a side chick. And they just rather be that. And just have one of the guys, it'd be just basically be part of a harem to a high value, quote unquote high value guy, than be wifed up by what she deems to be an average guy. Let's hit play.
Actively choosing where you want to be active at and where you want to take your time.
Mhm.
You want to take your time in having a wife because of your own fears, but you will.
It's not. It's literally what can happen to him, and I don't understand. Like I said, when I see a woman with a PhD next to her name, I expect nothing. Unfortunately, especially when you talk about, she talking about what's it, PhD in psychology. So yeah, so I'm gonna assume that she got a PhD in psychology. So she obviously it's not gonna be nothing. But like I said, this is a pretty woman. Even like I said, even without makeup, she's not bad looking. Especially in because she usually sticks to black spaces. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, she usually is in like black things, black spaces, black entertainment television, black shows and whatnot. If she's in like certain black reality TV shows, you know what I mean? So in those spaces, she's considered a bad bitch. But because of that, nobody's gonna call around and be like, "Well, you really offer nothing because you're a quote unquote PhD in psychology," and most of these women that are in that field are batshit crazy. And I'm being nice about that.
And I say this with all respect and love, what I'm about to say next, okay, Cam? But you will selfishly create broken families.
No, the women are creating the broken families. They don't have to accept his terms. Like I said, it's my body, my choice, right, ladies? You could tell Cam, no, I don't want a baby by you unless you put a ring on the finger. And if not, I'll just move on. But like I said, women are not going to do that. They'll just rather just be Cam Newton's. They'll just rather just join Cam Newton's harem. Like I said, he got paper, he got money, he got status. What? He got money, fame, and status. Not only that, he's a big dude. Like, and not only that, he's charismatic. Look at the hats he be wearing. Anyways, man, let's keep this playing.
Even if you're in their life and you're a proactive father, and I believe you're an amazing daddy, I can only imagine with just your presence and knowing you. But these families are still broken. Every child cannot have Papa in the house with them. So some child, if not all.
And this whole thing about the dad always having to be at the house, that's a bit overrated. The few times that he's there, his presence for those few times is always going to be enough. The mom needs to be there more times because first of all, let me be nice. So let me not even get too deep into that because people gonna start thinking, "Oh, you think mothers are useless?" No, I don't believe that. Obviously, I don't believe that. But I think people have this whole when it comes to parenting and motherhood and what a fatherhood and what a real man's supposed to be. First of all, Cam Newton had a dad in his life, so I would trust him, Cam, more than a Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. I don't know what her background is, but she's not married. She clearly doesn't have a man, even though God literally gave her everything when it comes to looks, black men liking her and whatever, having a body, you know what I'm saying? A body, yada, 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 whatever. And this bitch still single because she's looking for Jesus. Oh, didn't she do the interview with Nick Cannon? She did an interview with Nick Cannon. And dude, like she literally did an interview with Nick Cannon, and Nick Cannon asked her, okay, what kind of dude are you like looking for? And she just basically described a man that does not exist. These hoes, dog, they're their own worst enemy, and they try to project it. So I hope Cam Newton is not really internalizing what she's saying. And even I'm pretty sure I don't have to tell Cam that because Cam know what he's doing. But just in case, just in case, because pretty women say something that dudes will be like, hey, maybe there might be something to it. Look at the pretty lady, goofballs. I'm not calling Cam a goofball because all men can fall. All men have sinned and fall short of the glory of future Hendrix. But but just because she has a pretty face and she's talking and she's saying some pretty words does not mean she's saying anything of significance or relevance.
all will end up with some kind of deficit without daddy being there. Now, you chose to do that. I'm not saying you sat there and woke up one morning and said,
No, the woman chose to do that. Let's
I
continue.
want to be selfish today, so I'm going to go make a baby. Not saying that at all. But those are selfish
That's literally what you just said, but whatever.
acts at the expense of your fear. And yeah, that is a low functioning behavior. To stay
It's not even it's literally what's going to happen if he marries abroad and he gets divorced. The other kids that he has is how is he able to provide, quote unquote, financially for the other kids if he marries abroad and has a kid with abroad, and then the broad divorces him? She's going to, money wise, she is going to drag that man to where he won't even be able to provide what he can for the other bastards. Right? No disrespect. Let me not call Cam Newton's kids bastards. I'm sorry, that was wrong of me. But if he gets divorced, if he marries abroad, he divorces the broad, and he has a kid with the broad, he's not going to be able to provide that same money like he would if he would if he just made her a baby mama instead. He'll be able to just still be able to provide a certain thing, because there's actually a loophole, if I'm not mistaken. I think if you have a certain number of kids, you don't have to pay child support or something. It's something crazy like that. It's like if you have like 10 or 12 kids, you don't have to pay a certain money, amount, if I'm not mistaken. I remember Nick Cannon was talking about that, or one of Nick Cannon's baby mothers was talking about that. So I got to look into that. But financially wise, and for all of Cam's kids, it just makes better sense to just keep doing what he's doing. If he gets married, that would be stupid. And if he knocks up the broad and marries the broad, oh, that would be stupid. That would be idiotic.
say that I'm going to build these houses and put kids and these beautiful women and kids in them, but I ain't going to create a home and with them babies. But you are.
Like I said, one day one day I will dive into Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. One day we do got to do a deep dive into Dr. Cheyenne Bryant and women like her. Life coach on MTV, man. Like I said, there's really nothing a Dr. Bryant could tell me. Absolutely nothing. First of all, because I already know where she is in life. Everything, damn near everything has been given to her just off of her looks. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I tell people use what you can to get an advantage, but it is what it is. Okay, now let's look at the comment section. They said the way she spoke to him, she's right, and deep down Cam knows it too. It's more women spoke the way she did, we would for sure listen. Normies, I can't do it.